Picture this, a barefoot kid in rural Japan, too broke to buy shoes, probably failing half his school subjects. And that same kid grows up to build Honda, a company worth billions with cars, bikes, and engines across the planet. Yeah, this isn't a motivational poster, it's real life. Today we're telling the insane, hilarious, and inspiring story of Soichiro Honda, the dirt-poor kid who went from hammering metal in his dad's workshop to hammering the competition worldwide. Buckle up, because this ride's got explosions, failures, and a whole lot of stubbornness. Humble beginnings. Soichiro Honda was born in 1906 in a small Japanese village called Tenryu. His dad was a blacksmith, his mom wove cloth, and his family's wealth level? Let's just say if money talked, theirs was completely mute. He couldn't afford shoes, so he'd run barefoot to school, which sounds hardcore, but mainly just gave him dusty feet and confused teachers. He wasn't exactly a star student either. Books, boring, numbers, overrated. But mechanical stuff, that lit him up. While other kids were playing tag, Soichiro was staring at engines like they were magic tricks waiting to be solved. And once he got his hands on an actual car engine, things went from dusty village boy to full-on grease monkey. Honda's early fascination wasn't just some random childhood hobby. It was an obsession that grabbed him by the collar and never let go. Whenever traveling salesmen rolled through town with bicycles or strange mechanical gadgets, little Soichiro would sprint over, wide-eyed, memorizing every bolt, every crank, every turn of the wheel. He later admitted that the sharp tang of oil and hot metal excited him more than the smell of freshly cooked food at home. That fire in his chest came with consequences, though. He skipped chores, tuned out teachers, and often infuriated his father by accidentally breaking tools just to figure out how they worked. But what others saw as recklessness was really raw genius, in disguise a stubborn, unshakable curiosity that would one day become his greatest superpower: the grease monkey years. As a teenager, Soichiro ditched textbooks and started working in auto repair shops. While most apprentices struggle, he was tearing down engines like they were Lego sets. No college degree, no fancy training, just raw obsession and a stubborn brain. By his early 20s, he was running his own repair shop. Customers came in with broken engines and left with machines running smoother than ever. Honda was like, "I don't need theory, I've got practical PhDs in oil stains and busted pistons," but fixing other people's cars wasn't enough. He wanted to create. And his first big invention? Well, it kind of flopped. What's wild is that even during these years, Honda showed signs of being different from other mechanics. While most repair shop owners focused only on fixing and charging fees, Honda was experimenting after hours. He tried attaching strange contraptions to engines, tinkering with speed, and even sketching his own designs late at night. Employees thought he was eccentric, but he was laying the foundation for something bigger. The idea that Japan could build not just copies of Western machines, but original innovations that rivaled them. Failure is the best teacher. Honda started making piston rings for Toyota. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. His first batch was so bad that Toyota basically laughed him out of the room. Brutal rejection. Most people would quit, cry, or maybe open a bakery instead. But Honda? He doubled down. He literally went back to school to study metallurgy. He obsessed over it until his piston rings were finally so good that Toyota had to say, "Okay, fine, kid, you're hired." It should have been smooth sailing from there, except life had other plans. His factory bombed not once but twice during World War II, and just when he thought it was over, an earthquake finished the job. Talk about overkill. But instead of quitting, Honda shrugged and said, "Guess I'll just start over." Motorized bicycles. Post-war Japan was wrecked. Gasoline was scarce, people were broke, and transportation was a nightmare. Honda looked around, saw a bunch of leftover engines from military generators, and thought, what if I strap these to bicycles? Boom, affordable motorbikes. Suddenly, people could zip around town without breaking the bank. These things sold like crazy. His little company, Honda Motor Company, was officially born. What started as bicycles with engines soon evolved into sleek, reliable motorcycles. And when Honda entered global competitions, their bikes dominated. Imagine the world watching Japan, a country rebuilding from ruins, suddenly crushing European motorcycle legends. It was like an underdog anime plot, but in real life. And if motorcycles shook the world, just wait until Honda set his sights on cars. One overlooked detail here is Honda's marketing genius. He didn't just sell bikes, he sold freedom. Ads showed smiling families, students, and workers zipping around on Hondas, making life easier and fun. While rivals targeted hardcore riders, Honda targeted everyone. That's why their slogan in America became, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda," from 2 wheels to 4. In the 1960s, Honda expanded into cars. First came small, affordable models like the Civic, then the Accord. The formula was simple: reliable, efficient, affordable. Basically the opposite of 1960s American gas guzzlers. And people loved it. Soon, Honda was one of the top-selling brands in America. Their engines weren't just in cars, though. They powered everything: boats, lawnmowers, even airplanes later on. If it had an engine, Honda probably made a version of it. By the 1980s, Honda was a global giant. They weren't just making products, they were shaping entire industries. And all of it traced back to one kid who literally couldn't afford shoes. But here's the real kicker. Soichiro Honda didn't just build machines, he built a mindset. Honda's entry into the US market was risky, but revolutionary. While Detroit's Big Three laughed at Japanese cars, calling them toys, American consumers noticed something different. Hondas started every morning, sipped gas, and rarely broke down. Word of mouth spread. By the 1970s oil crisis, Honda was perfectly positioned. While Americans were stuck with thirsty V8s, Honda Civics delivered jaw-dropping mileage. That wasn't luck, it was Honda reading the world better than anyone else. Legacy and lessons. Honda believed that success came from failure, and boy, did he fail. But he used every mistake as fuel. He famously said, "Success is 99% failure," which basically means mess up often, but keep learning. He also hated playing it safe. While competitors tried to follow trends, Honda wanted to out-invent them. And it worked. Today, Honda is worth billions and sells over 30 million engines every single year, all because one barefoot boy refused to give up. So the next time you see a Honda cruising by, remember, it's not just a car, it's the legacy of a dirt-poor kid who went from hammering metal in his dad's workshop to building a global giant. If that doesn't fire you up, I don't know what will. Hey, if you enjoyed this story, smash that like button like Honda, smash the European motorcycle scene, subscribe for more crazy business backstories, and tell me in the comments which company's story you want next. Who knows, your suggestion might be the next video we roast. Cover. Until then, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, failure is just the down payment on success.